Well, spring games are starting to roll up on us. In Georgia, they have one set not too far along here. Kirby Smart and the defending champs in the Bulldogs claiming that title back in January after topping Alabama, that big hurdle 33-18, their first title since 1980. That first chip in the year, of course, comes at a price. Plenty of changes for Smart if they want to run it back there in Athens. And I mean a lot of changes for UGA as we look ahead here. 4 new position coaches changes here. 10 players entering the transfer portal, not to mention those key pieces on that defense. The Jordan Davises of the world, the Trayvon Walkers, the N'Kobe Deans, and Devontae Wyatt. Those guys are looking to play on Sundays. So a lot of holes on that defense that was #1 just last year. All right, time now to welcome in senior college football writer Barrett Sallee to tap in here. Before we get to those spring games, let's start with the leader on the field when it comes to Georgia, and that's Stetson Bennett, QB1 to close out the year, along with that ring, deciding to run it back here for another season here. If this job is his right now, is there a chance he could lose it with other options in that QB room?
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's a chance that he could lose it. Kirby Smart benched JT Daniels last year. JT opened the season as the starting quarterback, and I think Kirby Smart recognizes what happened with Jake Fromm and Justin Fields way back when, so he will make a change if he feels like it's necessary, but I just don't think it's going to be necessary. This is the first offseason that Stetson Bennett has had first-team snaps throughout the course of an entire offseason, and Kirby Smart challenged him. He said before spring practice that the biggest thing that Stetson needs to work on is his leadership ability. And you look at Stetson Bennett, you see how he acted throughout the course of last season. That was one of his strengths anyway. So I think right now Stetson Bennett is that guy, but there is talent behind him. Carson Beck, Brock Vandegrift, some really good players behind him. So he's going to be pushed, but that's the culture that Kirby Smart has built in Athens. He wants the culture of competition. I think Stetson will thrive with that, so I expect him to be the starting quarterback throughout the course of the season.
All right, of course, to continue, you need a quarterback. He has Stetson Bennett already with that ring in his trophy case now. But on that defensive side, Kirby Smart has to get a little special here because 7 key pieces will not be on that defense this upcoming season, all heading to Sunday, as I mentioned earlier. How does he kind of rebuild this defense back to that #1 spot, what we saw just last season?
A lot of continuity, obviously, with the coaching staff. With Will Muschamp, he was already there before being a co-defensive coordinator. But there were a lot of players on this roster that were key contributors last year. A lot of folks will say, and myself included, will say that Jalen Carter was better than Jordan Davis last year up front. And Jalen Carter, obviously, with a huge blocked field goal in the national championship game. Nolan Smith, another outside linebacker, an absolute stud, former top recruit. He was key down the stretch as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of talent gone. But Kirby has finished in the top 4 in the recruiting class rankings since 2017, every single year. So he has built a roster where you can plug and play like Alabama, like Clemson, like Ohio State. So there's a challenge. There's no doubt about it. But I think this roster, with some of these stars entrenched, still will compete at an elite level. Might not be like last year because that was a generational style defense, but it'll still be good enough.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.